Hello YouTube, this is the Bucket coming at you today with my unboxing and range review of Interarms M644 Bersa. But before I do that, I want to tell you a fun little story and give a quick little plug. So my buddy, the Tanfolio, has been my cameraman and my gun shooting buddy for over a year now. And it's been a lot of fun going through this journey with him. And he had decided to himself that bottled unicorn farts aren't rare enough. He wanted to be his gun of choice to be the Interarms Walther PPKS in 32 ACP stainless, new in box. And he's been searching for over a year. We've been going to every gun show that we can go to. We've been checking out every website. And just this past week, he gave me a call and said, guess what? I got it. Go ahead and go to freedomfirearmsmo.com. Check out this awesome website. And I did and fell in love with 2 or 3 different firearms. So I sent an email to Noah and I asked a little bit about this one. Got back with me, gave me lots of great information, and we worked out a deal on this particular firearm and this awesome Tanfolio in 25 ACP, also boxed, which I will be bringing to you guys shortly. They were awesome. 2 days later at my FFL were both of these guns, and they were actually better than advertised. So great prices. They honor all of their deals. All their firearms came to me and they looked amazing. So go ahead, check out their website. If you see something you like, tell them the Bucket sent you. But I think you're going to really like whatever you look into. So when I got to my FFL, this is what I got. You know how I like box old firearms. I could find very little on this particular firearm on the web. I don't know what years they were produced, but we can make some guesses as we open it up. So the sleeve has ripped over time, but the styrofoam was in amazing condition. It had the manual, which is awesome. We'll look at that in a minute. And it came with the original firearm. I don't think this thing had ever been fired, and it came with 2 magazines. So let's look at the manual real quick. It's obviously showing its age, but Interarms and Bersa came up with this awesome manual, gave all the specs of this pistol and a couple of the other pistols. A lot of information in Spanish, which would make sense since they're an Argentinian company. Have a cool exploded view. Some pictures of the other firearms. We'll talk about them in a minute. Show you how to disassemble. It's awesome. I love cool old things like this. I think it just adds to the gun. This gun right here is the M644, but it is the exact same specs as the Model 844 or the Lusbar. And that gun was chambered in 32 ACP. And that's going to be important here in a minute when we talk a little bit about what we experienced at the range. So this is again, 22 long rifle. It's a steel frame, steel slide, steel fixed barreled, single action only pistol. Its overall length is 6.61 inches. The overall barrel length is 3.5 inches. The overall width is 1.3 inches. Its overall height is 4.72 inches. And its weight comes in at 26.5 ounces. Hefty gun for 22 long rifle. There are 2 other models that come along with this gun. There is the 622 and the 622 CL. The 622 is just like this one, except for it's got a slightly longer barrel. Its barrel's 4 inches, and what they did is they threaded the barrel and put the front sight on the end of that threaded barrel protector, which would make it a little bit more accurate. The 622 CL is the exact same thing, but in 6 inches. So 6-inch barrel, and again, it's got the front sight on that threaded barrel protector. So you won't have the front sight reciprocating. It will stay fixed, which should increase accuracy. So let's talk a little bit about disassembly. So there are 3 safeties on the gun. The first safety is the magazine disconnect safety. The second safety is a hammer block safety, and you can see it flip up right there. And then there's a cross block safety right here, going from right here to right here. When I first thought about that, I thought that was a little silly to have so many safeties. I do really like this hammer block safety because with it being 22 long rifle, if you want to do dry fire drills, that's a nice safety to have. So let's go ahead and disassemble this pistol so you can see how to clean it and see how to field strip it for any maintenance that you might need. So what you're going to do is you're going to rack the slide, and this dust cover actually pivots right here. And what you'll do is you're going to push up on that dust cover and then pull the slide up and off the pistol. How I found works the best to do it is to put my thumb in the trigger guard and then use my index finger to index it up. So I pull it back, push up there with my index finger, and then it will come right off the front of the gun. Then you've got your spring. Again, it's a fixed barrel. Got a nice polished feed ramp there. Good rifling on the gun. You could just see it's really high quality in the machining. You could see it in the bluing. They just did a really good job on it. To reassemble the pistol, it's the exact same thing, but in reverse. We'll take a look at that slide real quick before we move too far forward here. And again, I do the exact same thing. Just put that right on there, and then I get it back there, push up on my index finger, and then I'm ready to go. You could do a function check, make sure your hammer block safety is down. You could put your magazine in, make sure that, again, nothing accidentally got in that chamber. You could pull that down, and then you could push this down. You could see the hammer goes down a little bit. Check your hammer block safety, and it does kill that trigger. So when I got to the range, I was super, super excited about this pistol. I ended up bringing some Arms Core hollow points. I brought some Monarch 22 long rifle from Academy. The Goat Whisperer had some 22 mini mags. And then I brought what I thought was CCI regular velocity, and actually it was quiet 22. And that was a real problem because the Lusbar, the 32 ACP version, which is exactly the same as this, I bet you they use the same hammer spring. So what a lot of manufacturers of 22s do to keep the gun in battery on a fixed barrel design is increase the hammer weight. And the higher the faster the cartridge, like 22 to 32, they'll just increase the hammer spring. And what I think happened is that they just said, well, if they just are using hot enough 22, it's not going to make a difference. So when I was running really underpowered 22, I wasn't getting the gun to cycle. It would fire, but didn't have enough oomph to run the slide. Also, with this gun being at least 40 years old, probably closer to 50 years old, and sitting in its original grease, I'm guessing that some of that grease needed to be loosened up over time. If I was to make another guess, I'm guessing there was also a break-in period because as we kept running rounds through the gun, it started to run more and more reliably. So by the time we got done, the mini mags and this Monarch was running fine, and you could see in some of my videos, I was getting no problems running 10 round magazines with no failures. As we went on and probably got through over 200 rounds through this pistol, we started getting some reliability issues with the gun not wanting to feed regularly, which wasn't something that we were having any problems with at the beginning of the day. So I'm guessing on a pistol like this, after 100 to 150 rounds, you're going to start running into some reliability issues until you get it cleaned up. So for what it's worth, that's what I would guess was happening. Now that being said, we did have a lot of fun shooting this gun today. When I shot it, I was shooting a little high and to the right, had one little flyer there. The Goat Whisperer, who is a better shot than me, he was hitting a little high and to the right as well. And then after we figured out where the point of aim, point of impact was, we could get some fairly good accuracy out of this old Bersa pistol. So what would I say about this pistol? Well, once you figure out which ammo to run, it was a lot of fun to do after I got it broke in a little bit. The extra weight from an all-steel design made this an absolute pleasure to shoot. It was really easy to keep the bullets on target once we knew exactly where the point of aim, point of impact was. I like the fact that it has this gorgeous bluing. I like the fact that the craftsmanship was really high on it. And the single action trigger was really, really nice. Some of the things to think about. Well, without it being double action, you did have to rethumb the hammer anytime that you did have a malfunction. its magazine release is in a kind of strange location, which isn't intuitive to a lot of shooters that are used to kind of common thumb magazine releases. So those are some things to think about. And with 3 safeties, the likelihood you may accidentally engage one is a little bit higher. That being said, if you're somebody that really wants and really enjoys beautiful bluing on your firearms and probably think this one looks a little bit better than a Bersa Thunder does, that might be something that would make you go this direction opposed to another one. I really enjoyed this pistol a lot. And if you have an 844, I'm guessing you would have the same story about your pistol as mine, except for probably the hammer weight wasn't nearly as big of a deal on a 32 ACP opposed to a 22 long rifle. So I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll be able to keep this one because I do always have to get new content for the channel, but it's going to be hard. Somebody's going to have to really step up and trade me something really cool to get me to walk away from this cool firearm. So again, I would go ahead and I would check out Freedom Firearms and Tactical at freedomfirearmsmo.com. They were awesome guys. Again, talk to Noah, tell him the bucket sent you. I think you'll find some really cool firearms at a really, really fair price there. I do want to thank you guys for supporting the channel. All the likes, the comments, and the shares are really, really appreciated. And as always, you stay classy, YouTube.
I learned a lesson. Never half-ass 2 things. Whole-ass one thing.